Assalamu alaikum. So, as requested, and as I, you know, promised that I will come back on Friday to give you a juicy live. So, here I am. Today, our topic is what are those 5 things I did to help my child overcome his struggles and recover his speech, recover his well being, attention, going to regular school, and everything in between. So, hello, Rana, how are you doing? How's your child? Okay, so since today is a very important one, I ask you and I highly recommend you to bring your notepad and your pen so that you can write down all the tips and tricks that I'm going to share with you today and teach you today. Because trust me, when you start working on them, you will see radical changes in your child. Okay, so before we jump into the 5 things that I did for my son and help him recover or transform his autism, I want you to take a pause. Just pause. Put your hand on your heart space, like here. Close your eyes. Take 2 or 3 deep breaths. Okay, this is important. Why? Because by doing this, you are grounding yourself and you are actually calming your mind and you're calming your nervous system so that you can see, you can hear, you can understand what I'm about to deliver. Okay? Because a lot of the time what we are doing is essentially we are bogged down in our regular life. We are stressed, we are upset, we are anxious, we are exhausted, sleep deprived, and everything in between. So what it does, what the grounding practices, actually we have a lot of grounding practices that I teach. Hello Pushpapu, how are you doing? Thank you for coming. So what does grounding does? What grounding does is it helps the body to regulate our hormones. It helps to regulate our emotions. It helps us to feel grounded and be in centered position. Okay, so our today's topic is what are the 5 things I did for my son to help him recover his speech, his behaviors, and to overall transform his autism. Okay, all right, so bring your pen and paper and write them down because this is juicy and this is very important and you will learn a lot. Can you guys hear me properly and see me properly? Let me know in the comment, please. And also ask question if you have any questions, and if you have any struggles with your child currently, please let me know so that I can answer you and support you further. Okay, so the first thing that I did was I accepted the journey. Okay, so the first one is accepting the journey and preparing myself for the journey. Okay, all right, so what do I mean by that? Because if you are in a super stressed condition, if you are in a super stressed situation, you cannot think properly, you cannot understand properly, you will be feeling a lot of confusion, a lot of brain fog, you will have less energy, you will have less understanding as well. Okay, so the reason why we always talk about mindset, we always talk about inner stability, emotional stability for our moms, is because you are the foundation, you are the root on which your child will grow and expand. So if you are not ready, if you are just barely surviving, then you won't be able to help your child to the best version, to become the best version possible. Okay, all right, so not getting super stressed, not getting hyper, and making your own practice, having your own grounding practice, having your own meditation sessions, your own morning yoga, your own journaling, because I love journaling. Okay, I say it all the time. I have lots of journals like this. I always wake up in the morning and then do some sort of writing down of what I am supposed to do today, how I am supposed to move forward, and what am I going to achieve, the smaller goals. Because a journey of 1,000 steps start with 1 and then 2 and then 3. So rather than thinking of, oh my god, how am I going to go through the 30th day, the most important thing is this day, today. So if you win today, you will win tomorrow, and then the other tomorrow, and then on forward. Okay. All right, so how can you achieve relaxed state? So you can achieve relaxed state by making sure that you are eating properly yourself. If you are a woman and if you are having your period, then you have to make sure that your iron level is pretty much on point, because if you are deficient in iron, you will have brain fog, you will have less energy, you will be more exhausted, and guess what? We have a lot of chores to do for our children, right? We have to work very hard for our children. So we need to have our own energy as well. Make sure that you find some sort of activities to calm you down. If you feel like, drawing mandala or having a journaling session or talking to your friends or family works, then do them. Make sure that you are calm and grounded as much as possible. Okay? All right. So after the first point, the second one is I shifted his diet. Definitely. Hello, Nena. Thank you for coming by. Do you have any question for me, Nena? Today we are talking about the 5 things I did to transform my child's autism, and today you will learn a lot. So the first thing that I did for my son was ensuring that I myself am calm and serene and physically, mentally, and emotionally ready for the challenge. And the second one that we were discussing is shifting the diet. So I have made a lot of lives and trainings, and also lots of written posts about this. You can use hashtag the autism diet or hashtag Tuesdays with Dr. T, and then you will find a lot of the resources in there in the group prepared for you so that you can start your own journey. Okay, so we have done extensive deep diving into them, so I won't be taking much time to discuss them here. But as a general summary, if you are new to this group and you are seeing me for the first time, we do grain-free, milk-free diet, which is a different version than CFGF, because CFGF is just removing the casein and then the gluten. So what I have seen in my own experience is gluten alone is not the problem. The main problem are the grains, because grains are indigestible, because grains were not actually supposed to be our food. Hello, Panna, how are you doing? Grains were not supposed to be our food, okay? Because grains are, specifically wheat, they were actually cultivated thousands of years ago by Egyptians from grass. So we are not herbivores, we're not supposed to eat grass, and we're not supposed to eat grains even. So what's happening with the grain is the child's body cannot digest the grain properly, and then undigested food causes bad bacteria, the harmful bacteria and harmful toxins to be created, and those in fact causes the brain to have brain fogs and to not have focus, to have hyperactivity, and all the struggles and most of the struggles that we have for our children. Okay, so apart from the grain free, we need to be milk free, except ghee, butter, and yogurt, preferably homemade yogurt, because those 3 are the only dairy we can give to our children at this stage, because those 3 are easily digestible and they have the good bacteria needed for the better digestion of your child's food. Okay, all right. So apart from the grain-free, milk-free diet, then you might think, what am I going to feed? So what you're going to feed is you're going to feed lots of organic, as much as possible, organic and chemical-free vegetables and fruits, juices, broths, fish, beef, chicken, whatever poultry or meat that your child likes to eat. You can give them those, and make sure that you make them in a way that is easily digestible. Like, not too much deep fried food, not too much stale food, older food, and things like that. So after the diet, the other thing that I changed was I supported his detox system. Okay, so how did I supported his detox system? What I did was I scored my books. Okay, I scored my books, and then okay. Before we go to the detox, we have a question. Nena says, "Please, are seeds and nuts good for our kids like pumpkin, chia, almond, sesame?" Of course, Nana. Of course, of course, of course. Seeds and nuts are actually powerhouse because they contain very lots of minerals and vitamins, like essential vitamins and amino acids that we sometimes cannot find in other foods and vegetables. Okay, so nuts and seeds are also very important because they have some very important oils. Okay, oily vitamins like vitamin D, vitamin A, sometimes vitamin K. So all those vitamins and minerals help the child, and they also provide a lot of protein to your child's diet, because your child is now not on the grains and your child is eating mostly fresh fruits and vegetables. So fruits and vegetables need to have a lot of supportive proteins for their brain development, for their muscle tone, for their body working as much as possible. So yes, please give him seeds and nuts and everything in between. Just make sure that they are as organic as possible. Okay, all right. So our first step that I did for my child was to ensure that I am calm and serene. The second thing that I did was changing the diet, and the third thing that I did for him was I did massive detoxification for him. So if your child is anything like mine, your child is suffering constipation, your child is having trouble passing stool, is angry, is irritated and upsetting easily, because we might not understand it clearly, but the thing is, pooping is so much essential because it's one of the main way the body detoxify itself. Okay, pooping is one of the main way the body detoxifies itself. So you have to ensure in any way possible to make sure that your child is pooping in massive quantity every single day. Okay, so massive quantity as much as possible, so that your child is not just pooping a little bit of the undigested part, but making sure that the whole gut is clean. Because most of the time, if you think that your child is pooping every day, so he's fine, it's actually not. Because our children, what they're doing is they're having spill off. So what's a spill off is, let's say we take a container. Okay, let's say I take a container and then it's slowly filling up with the stool. Okay, and anytime that it goes over, that's the amount that the child is pooping. Okay, but there are still a lot of undigested matter, toxins and stuff stuck in, or accumulated, hold in the large intestine. And the large intestine is also the energetic space where we hold on emotions as well. Okay, so if you as a mom is someone who is holding on to a lot of stress, holding on to a lot of energetic trauma and things like that, your child will also have trouble with detoxification, with letting go of toxins, with letting go of stuff from his body. Okay, so you have to make sure that you are giving him some sort of easily soluble fibers. Chia is a good one. Then if you are in the Asian country, then ispagula husk or isubgul is also a very good one. Then you can also make sure that your child is eating lots of fruits and vegetables and plenty of water or juice and fluids in between. Hello Shumana Apu, hello Nadia Apu, thank you for coming. Onek din pore dekhlam apnake. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to make sure that your child is not just pooping but also peeing regularly, and also that your child has some sort of blood purification going on. So how can you do that blood purification at home? Sometimes we have Ayurvedic way of giving neem juice, which is very bitter, and I'm sure you will find it very hard to give to your child. So on the other hand, to neem, you can try aloe vera juice. It's very good for detoxification. You can try the juicing method that I teach everyone, especially my students, and that is 50% of the juice will be sweeter fruits and then 50% will be green leafy vegetables. Okay, so let's say you take 1 cup of apple, banana, or not banana, sometimes banana is not that helpful for the child's gut microbiome if your child's gut is already high in the bad bacteria. Apples, you can give apples, pineapples, berries, strawberries, and things like that. So 1 cup of mixed sweet fruits, and then 1 cup of kale, spinach, lal shak, stuff like that, which is leafy green. So what leafy green does, they have a lot of chlorophylls and a lot of detoxifying chemicals and nutrients. Okay, because we all know to some extent about green juices. They are taking the world by the storm. So what does green juice do? Green juices are the best for detoxification due to the innate property it has to be able to flush out toxins. Okay, so try adding this juicing for your child as well. This will help your child detoxify massively, and make sure that your child is pooping regularly every single day in large quantities. So that will also ensure that your child is sleeping well, also eating well, because if you are constipated, you will have less interest to eat. So a lot of that pickiness of a child is actually the disinterest to food, because the body does not just want to eat, because the body have a lot of stuff to it's holding on to, and when it lets go of them, it will be feeling hungry, it will be feeling interested to food. Okay, all right. One more thing about detoxification is this: please do not try extensive supplements just because you find it on the internet, because supplements sometimes can even harm your child. So if you want to use supplements, please follow a doctor or naturopath or a professional who knows what she's or he is doing. Okay, try not to do it on your own. Today also I got a DM from a mom saying that I have brought these medicines for my child. Can you please say if they are okay or not? And I was like, excuse me, first of all, I'm not your doctor, I'm not your coach even. I don't know what the condition of your child is, and you cannot just buy anything from the shelf and then give your child without even having some sort of guidelines from a professional. Okay, so please do not do stuff that are supposed to be under professional, because experts are supposed to be taking care of those things which might have side effects, which might have harmful effect for your child. So anything that you do detox wise has to be natural, has to be gentle, and giving aloe vera juice is natural and it's a food. Giving juices is natural, it's a fruit. Giving more water, you can do it on your own. You don't need a doctor to say you that you need to make your child drink more. Okay, all right. So the third point was I gave him full on detox support. The fourth one that I did for him was we changed our lifestyle. So what happened with my son was we were in Canada during pandemic, and then life shut down. We couldn't go out. Even sometimes what happened was the government even stopped us from coming outside of the home. So for a few weeks, everybody were just stuck indoor. Nobody was allowed to come outside. So what happened was that took a lot of toll on my health, emotional and physical health, also on our children. So if you have been affected by the pandemic, and I think you would, because we are global citizens, all of our lives are stuck pretty much indoor. A lot of our schools and colleges have not yet started. So we understand that social distancing is taking a lot of toll on us. We are not working in the nature. We are not playing in the nature. We need to send our kids to play outside, outdoors, in the dirt, in the sun, because sun, dirt, nature, greeneries are all important for your child's mental health, emotional health, physical health. Okay, because remember, green is always good for your child. Green, whether you see it, whether you wear it, whether you eat, always helps you detoxify, always helps your child detoxify. Okay, and to make sure that your child has less gadgets, your child is having one-to-one interaction with you, hugging them as much as possible, playing with them, you sharing food with them, your husband taking care of them, you taking care of them, giving them massage. You can do a lot of things to ensure that you have a holistic lifestyle. So what do I mean by holistic lifestyle? Holistic means something that is whole, it's natural, it's taking care of all the major requirements a human being has, because our life actually is built on 4 quadrants. Okay, 4 quadrants. The first one is physical health, mental health, emotional health, and spiritual health. So for physical health also, we need to go outside, play outside, eat good food, nourish our body. For emotional health, we need to have good relationship, we need to have a serene and calm environment in our home. So if you are constantly fighting with your husband, with people around you, what that does is that creates a lot of stress on your child as well. Just because your child cannot speak, cannot verbalize, cannot show his emotion, doesn't mean he is not affected by all the drama around him. Okay, so if you want your child to thrive and survive, not just survive, to thrive and be successful, you need to change your lifestyle as well. You need to make sure that you have a very nourishing and nurturing lifestyle. You have a good relationship with everybody around you as much as possible, and to separate yourself from toxic people, from people who are not understanding you, from people who are putting a lot of pressure on you, a lot of work on you, a lot of expectations on you, because your life should be led by you and not anyone else, and you have to be the one determining the course of action for you and your child. Nobody else does that. Nobody else gets to decide where you are going with your child, where you are, your trajectory with your child should be determined only by you and your husband, the parents. So the holistic lifestyle helps nourish the child, helps grounding, helps in sleep, helps in mood, helps in hyperactivity. Okay, because when you play on the ground has earthing. It does something like earthing. So the excess energy, the excess charge, the excess stress, it goes to the ground, and then the body gets calmer. The body gets more centered. So yeah, play outside. Try to make sure that your environment is as chemical free as possible, as natural as possible. All of those things contribute to the holistic lifestyle. Okay, and holistic lifestyle should be a choice, and it should not be in a way that from today onwards everything needs to be spick and span, chemical free, organic. You cannot do that. That will scare the shit out of you. That will make you overwhelmed, and you might just stop and do nothing. I don't want that for you. What I want for you is take things slowly, change one thing at a time. Change the most important things first. For example, change the cookwares. If you are using aluminium, if you are using non-stick, throw them out. Or, in Bengali, we use disco patila, the aluminium, silvery cookwares that you use. Throw all those garbage, because those are garbage. Those are very toxic. Use ceramic based, use clay pot, use bamboo, use glass, use cast iron. All of those are good chemical free options. Okay, so first maybe change the foodware, then maybe change how you store food. For example, if you use plastic containers, stop them. Use glass containers to store store cooked food in the fridge. Try to finish your food in the first 1 or 2 days and not eat very stale food. And then maybe slowly do meditation and do stuff like that will calm you down. Talk to your spouse, discuss with him, take your child outside and play outside. All of those things can be done slowly and steadily. Okay, all right. So Nana says, what causes anger, shouting, crying, laughing and depression in our kids? My boy does these stuffs most of the time. A friend says it's caused by candida and parasite. PS, what's your take on that? Okay, So anger, shouting, suddenly laughing, getting depressed, all of those things are due to gut imbalance. And gut is imbalanced not just because of bacteria, but because of fungi as well, which is candida, okay, and sometimes parasite. So yes, your friend is quite right, and you can help your child by, following all the guidelines that I'm giving you today. Change his diet, do the detox, give him some sort of supplements to make sure that he's growing more good bacteria in the gut, okay. Improve the gut microbiome will also reduce anger, shouting, screaming. Play outside, give him regular massage, all of these things. Do all of these things and you will see a lot of improvement. I highly suggest you all, if you are watching this live, to please come back again and watch it again. And if you're watching it on replay, to make notes and then at least watch this live 2 times and note down everything that I'm saying, because I actually give you guys a lot of advices. The difference between you taking action is now you're overwhelmed and now you don't have streamlined guidance, somebody guiding you through, okay? So if you want to do it in a radical way, and if you want to help your child, then please follow through the guidelines and at least try them, and you will see a massive improvement in your child. I totally, vouch for that. Okay. So our third point that I did for my son was holistic lifestyle. The fourth thing that I did was I tried to understand him for who he was, and it was not very hard for me because, hello, I'm a neurodiverse. I have been having a lot of struggle growing up. So I understand what my child is going through. And if you are somebody who's not a neurodiverse, it's totally okay. Just try to understand your child's lackings, shortcomings, not understanding, and how the brain works, and give him the support based on his need, based on what he understands. For example, if your child is suddenly having meltdown, don't get angry and defensive. Try to understand your child. Take your child to somewhere that is calm. Take your child somewhere where it is conductive to his conductive to his emotions. Let him let his body recalibrate, calm down, and then you can go on with your work. Okay, if your child is having a meltdown and you have started screaming with him, it's not going to work, because your child is actually not understanding why he is having meltdown in the first place. Okay, so need-based parenting is making sure that you understand your child, making sure that you are giving your child the absolute love and support the child needs to be able to grow and flourish and blossom, rather than feel stressed, upset, depressed. Because a lot of us try to physically abuse our children, physically try to straighten them up somehow. I don't know how that works, because if you are trying to parent your child, if your child is neurotypical and then you are using physical force, sometimes it works because your child is understanding why he is being bitten or scolded at or shouted at. But if your child is non-verbal, non-responsive, and pretty much severe case and whatnot, then you screaming at him, shouting at him, hitting him is not going to work at all. So if you are one such parent, or your spouse is doing like this, show him this or her this live, and then hopefully discuss this thing out, because this sort of parenting is not actually helping your child. It will hinder his progress. Okay. All right. So after need-based parenting, what I did was I ensured that my child was having additional support from everybody else. Okay. Additional support as in his father taking him outside, giving him a bath, giving him a massage, understanding his need. His school is chosen properly. By the way, my son used to, because we are still in Bangladesh. When he goes back, he will go back to the school again, inshallah. So I send my child to a normal school. Even though my child had special needs, still have some special needs, he will always have some special needs. Recovery doesn't mean you are changing your neurodiverse child into neurotypical. Recovery or transforming your child means you are giving him all the support that he needs to be able to function properly, become independent, understand, behave properly, go out and have social life, go outside and have meaningful conversation, meaningful repertoire with everybody in the general distinction. So what I kind of suggest you think at least is sending your child to a regular school. Here is why. If you are sending him to a special school, that means all the children around him has special needs of various degrees. So if you want your child to learn new skills, to learn natural rhythm, to learn, normal behaviors, then he need to see and understand and be in an environment that is normal, that is conductive, that is understanding. Okay, yes, this will be a little challenging, and I took on that challenge because I wanted him to give the best support, because I understood this one. Every child learns from their surrounding. So if his surrounding is not teaching him what I want him to learn, then he will not learn them. So I send him to a normal school, regular school of neurodiverse, all-inclusive people, and he has been doing really well. So in trying to choosing, in your quest to choose a school, I highly suggest that you find a school that understands and have some sort of, understanding and accept your child's need and give some sort of reprieve to you. Okay, we have 2 questions here, I guess. Muhammad Nazrul Islam, assalamu alaikum Nazrul bhaiya. He says, if the child does not speak, how will we send him to normal school? Exactly. Okay, if your child is not speaking, then I highly suggest you find a way to improve his speech, to improve his skill set, and when he is speaking or understanding, then to send him to regular school. By the way, when I enrolled my son, he was not talking very fluently. Okay, so when your child is young and very young age, it's not very necessary for him to speak as such. It's important for him to understand the teacher and to go with that. The main problem with South Asian school like Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, and schools like that is this: we put extreme amount of workload and stress onto the students, even very tiny kids. Okay, I have seen KG students, I have seen play students given so much homeworks and so much study materials that is only maybe should be given to class 1, standard 1, standard 2 and onwards. Okay, so as I said, you have to first ensure that your child is understanding everything and your child is getting the proper support to learn speech, and then maybe later on change the school into a regular school. Okay, all right. And if I'm not mistaken, Nozrul Bhaiya is supposed to join our program, inshallah. So definitely he will have an additional bonus of his child speaking pretty soon, inshallah. Okay, so understanding your child's need and making sure that your child is getting the attention, the need needed for him to be able to have those pillars to his success. Go with him, inshallah bhaiya. I'm looking forward to you joining, by the way, soon at that. Okay, so what we are doing is we are giving you a dream which is achievable, which is highly achievable. It's just that you have to understand the difference between what is possible and what is not possible. What you should not strive for is your child totally becoming like an adult. I don't know why some parents think like their autism child needs to become an adult. Okay? A child, first of all, will be a child, and a child, whether neurotypical or neurodiverse, have their own, have their own set of challenges, have their own set of way of growing, have their way of being. So a child will have tantrums, a child will have meltdown, a child will have sleep problems, a child might have speech problem and understanding. He or she might be socially shy, he or she might be, introverted, and that's totally normal. We do not need to force the child to become an adult version. What you need your child is to be able to be independent, understand commands, share his need, communicate his need, be able to lead a normal, natural, healthy life. Okay? And all of those things are totally possible. You can do it totally possible, okay, without needing to run to various different places and, becoming really stressed and exhausted and literally wanting to suicide. No need to go down that hole. You can manage, you can transform your child, you can achieve all those milestones, and it's very much possible. Okay, but you need to make sure that you understand your child's need, because a developmentally delayed brain has some delays because of some causes. So when you can solve the causes, those will be removed, and then the brain will have the capacity to understand commands, to understand what it's supposed to do, to learn things, to be able to speak, to be able to function, cognitive skills, developmental skills, and everything in between. Your child can achieve all of those things. Your child does not need to be disabled, permanently disabled. All of these things are totally possible to be normalized and regularized only if you trust in yourself and only if you believe in yourself. Because your faith in your child is the most important thing. If you do not have faith in your child, then nobody will have faith in your child. You are the only one on whom your child is seeing the world. So now if your child has special needs, you have to be the person to understand the special needs and give him those special needs. So as a summary, the 5 things that I did to overcome the challenges of my son was, first, to make sure that I regulate myself properly. I am calm, I am serene, I am taking care of myself well. The second thing that I did for him was I changed his diet to grain-free and milk-free and natural. You will get those guidelines, most of them in the group, in the guide section. The third thing that I did for him was I changed our lifestyle into a holistic based, we changed chemical based stuff. We changed what we cook, how we serve things and stuff like that. The fourth thing that I did was I tried to understand his need. It was not hard for me that much because I was neurodiverse myself. I am a neurodiverse myself, but it can be hard for you if you are a neurotypical mom or dad to understand your child and to understand the difference between how the brain works and not to force the brain to do things that it does not understand to do. I keep on trying to say this every time. A neurodiverse brain, a child with autism has the brain in a pause, in a, bound situation. So if your child's brain is bound, then how many times, given that let's say 50 times, 60 times, 100 times you are telling your child to, hold the pen like this. If you keep on asking him to do this, at one point he will hold the pen. But that's not a normal holding the pen. That's a memorized holding the pen. So this is the difference. This is the specific difference between what other professionals are saying about autism and what we are saying about autism. So the difference is your child's brain, and not just me, by the way. We have we have lots of people all around the world working in a similar manner. Okay, you just have to go and find and search, and then there are lots of researches being published. You have to go through them as well. So the child's brain is stuck and it's just wrapped around. So in that state, if you keep on forcing and forcing and forcing, your child will at one point will follow your command, but that's not normal. That following is not a normal following. So imagine if you haven't taught him something, and then he has to go in a new situation, a new environment, then he will definitely go down. Then he will definitely fail. Why? Because his brain wasn't understanding how to do that thing. Okay? So what we do, we understand and we have seen time and time again is this. When you open the shackles of the brain, and that's totally possible, and the 5 things will help your child's brain to be unshackled. So when the brain is open, the brain can slowly and steadily learn from the environment. Okay, learn from the environment. And also how you teach him, how you show him things. So rather than forcing and exhausting the child, try to understand the needs and change the internal stuff first, and then maybe the other trainings will become easier for your child. And then when your child brain is understanding command, it will be easier for him to learn speech, to learn occupational therapy, to learn whatever the child needs to learn to be able to function on his own. Okay? So yes, these are totally possible. And if you want to learn all these and want somebody to be holding you accountable, to have an expert guide you through all of this, then you can. And I am back. So we had a little connection issue. Thank you for staying by the way. So if you want to learn all of those deeper and to not spend any more hours and times and money and stress onto something that's not working for your child, then I highly suggest and recommend you give us a try, talk to us, book a call, discuss with us and see if we can help you, because the best thing that you can do for your child is to understand his need and give his need, and we are seeing massive results all the time, alhamdulillah. Today also I'll share it very soon, right after this post. If you are in my if you watch my stories, then you will see or you have already seen. So one of our child who was just one single thing eater, he was just drinking Pediasure, that's it, nothing else, for 7 years, only Pediasure. Guess what happened? Today he ate pumpkin. Okay, just imagine, for 7 years this child was not eating any hard things, any solid foods, and even the Pediasure need to be force fed to him. He is now eating natural food. He is now eating natural food, solid food, and yes, showing that he needs more and understanding more. So all of those things are possible if you have faith, if you understand, if you want to just try. Because sometimes nobody can give you the guarantee, only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can. What you can do is try as a parent, try everything in your capabilities and try a little bit more. Be resourceful, try a bit more, expand your heart, expand your consciousness, and then try. Because you trying and trying and trying someday will bring success to your child, and your child will thank you for that. Okay? I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for staying. Let me know in the comments if you have any interest that or any recommendation that I do for the lives. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Oops.